Hello, this is a guide for the Mercenary Minerva. I'll be going over how the Mercenary works, how to build them, and most importantly how to use them. Minerva is a legendary defender with a specific classification of her being a roadblock tank and sometimes a taunt tank. Minerva is a front attacking mercenary with her AoE tiles being a single tile. I'll now talk about her skills at max rank. Her first skill is named Fallen Creed. This skill does three main things. First of all, it gives Minerva provisional HP that scales with her max HP. And second of all, whenever the mage enters their casting state, Minerva gains 10,000 HP and applies a really short concentrated fire on herself. The reason why she gains concentrated fire instead of taunt is because concentrated fire is considered a debuff. Therefore, it can ignore the nullifier effect and the buff prohibition debuff. In other words, you can think of it as Minerva getting an unavoidable and unremovable taunt. Her second skill is named Minerva's Shield. For a moderate duration, Minerva gains 50,000 HP and deletes 100% of incoming damage. This might sound overpowered, however, direct damage, HP consumed damage, and HP reduction damage will still pierce through. Her third skill is named Vital Bash. This skill deals guard barrier ignoring damage 4 times that scales off Minerva's additional HP. Her fourth skill is named Debuff Immunity. For a moderate duration, Minerva is immune to debuffs. For skill level, unfortunately, Minerva only gets good when she reaches plus 15, since at that skill level it would max out her damage deletion skill to 100%. This breakpoint is way too important for Minerva, literally using her at plus 14 or below is a significant downgrade from plus 15. For her runes, the optimal setup would be to run 2 HP percent runes, both with a subset of flat HP. Additionally, both runes should be at minimum 6-star runes with epic plus rarity, as well as their stats being equal to or higher than the ones presented on screen. For Mythic Rune, the optimal setup would be to run either a Penetration and HP percent Mythic Rune, or double HP percent Mythic Rune. With either choice, their subset should be HP percent, though don't worry if you don't have the subset, it's not make or break. For Insignia of Creed, as usual, I wouldn't recommend getting them as insignias aren't necessary for her to perform well. However, due to Minerva benefiting from overloading on HP, I wouldn't shun you for doing so. If you do get insignias on Minerva, then they should be the following: 1000-year training, Star Guardian, Frostbear's Leather, and for the last 2 slots, any of the following works. For Soul Gear, you kinda have to level them all up to be level 10 for that one additional skill level to get her to plus 15. Additionally, I would recommend you to upgrade her armor and amulet to be level 25 for the additional HP boost. And lastly, if you do upgrade her amulet to level 25, I would highly recommend refining her amulet stats to be double HP percent. For rank boosting Minerva, I would highly recommend it as it would significantly increase her HP. Minerva's main purpose is to be a decent generous roadblock tank that can switch to a strong niche taunt tank when against the enemy running an Indra and Mage combo. Overall, Minerva can work well in either a Mage team or a Warrior team. Now for her pros and cons. For pros, Minerva has a favorable matchup against the Indra Mage combo, since when the enemy Indra auto-charges a Mage, Minerva will be there with her concentrated fire to draw their attack away. Therefore, Indra Mage teams will have a hard time dealing with Minerva if they don't have the right magician to work around her defenses. Additionally, Minerva gaining concentrated fire instead of taunt is actually a huge benefit for her. This is because concentrated fire is listed as a debuff, which makes it unable to be removed by nullifiers and unable to be blocked by buff prohibition. Also, just a small note, concentrated fire is able to draw aggro from taunt ignoring mercenaries. This isn't too significant for Minerva as her concentrated fire duration is really short, but I thought this interaction is just good to know about. Another pro of Minerva is that when her damage deletion is active, she is completely immune to fixed, guard, defense, and barrier ignoring damage, making her an annoying roadblock tank to deal with if you don't have high direct or HP consumed damage to one-shot her. To add on to her annoying damage deletion, Minerva also gains a monstrous amount of health, causing even moderate direct or HP consumed damage to only deal chip damage to her. A small and niche pro of Minerva is that if she runs a penetration rune, she can deal 5 instant of damage, excluding her normal attack, which technically allows her to one-shot 24% or greater HP restrained enemies, but really this situation rarely if ever comes up. And lastly, Minerva is debuff immune, which importantly makes her immune to Indra's burn, removing his ability to significantly chip her health. However, some cons are that her concentrated fire is very janky. This is because it only activates when the enemy mage enters their casting state, not when they're attacking. So sometimes the mage attacks just fly over Minerva's head. But by far Minerva's biggest con is that she can be easily one-shotted by high direct or HP consumed damage dealers. To add on to that, even low to moderate direct or HP consumed damage dealers can eventually chip her to death. This makes her comically easy to deal with, and I'll elaborate more on this in our matchup section. And finally, the last con of Minerva is that her damage output is absolutely terrible, so don't rely on it to kill your enemies. Honestly, my recommendation is just to pretend that her additional damage doesn't exist. For some synergies, due to Minerva being a decent generous roadblock tank, she kinda just synergizes well with anyone and everyone. Though a notable synergy Minerva has is with Regeneration Barrier Ida because it's the easiest and most effective way to heal her. Since if Minerva has regeneration, it would prevent her from dying to dot damage, but more importantly, it prevents her from being chipped to death. For the World Arena, Albion and Sola can also synergize quite well with Minerva, since Albion can bestow a taunt while Sola can be a reliable source of healing for Minerva. Also, it's important to note that Ride cannot give her immortality buff to Minerva. This is because Ride's immortality specifically states that it cannot be given to defenders. In my opinion, you should still run Ride in your teams, but just keep in mind that Minerva and other defenders can't receive her immortality. Therefore, if you do want to put an immortality buff on Minerva, I suggest you run Indra. He can not only provide decent immortality, but also provide other critical buffs to mages. For some good matchups, Minerva is best at countering an Indra Mage combo or a Venus Mage combo due to the guaranteed chance that an enemy mage charges up, since they would guarantee Minerva getting her concentrated fire. To add on to countering mages, Minerva's damage deletion allows her to survive attacks against most mages with ease. This includes Freyla, Kubera, Velfern, Nartis, Haruna, and Anubis. Furthermore, Minerva's damage deletion allows her to be a decent roadblock tank against other non-mage slayers that don't deal direct or HP consume damage. Common slayers of this category include Islok, Asmode, Kade, Eden, and Dwen. And lastly, due to Minerva getting a monstrous amount of HP, she can survive attacks that deal low to moderate amount of direct and or HP consume damage. These include Apollo, Diane, Scrime, Valze, Agni, and Yuri. Also, one more thing that I should add is that technically Minerva can one-shot Wester as well as Enma and Neptune if she has a penetration rune. It isn't too significant nor important, but I feel like I should still say it just to be safe. Now to her counters. Mercenaries that counter Minerva include high direct damage dealers such as Dione, Alec, Anastasia, and Kumari. These four can easily one-shot her and is by far her biggest counter. Lakshmi and Wilhelma can also one-shot her, but they do need some time to ramp up before actually one-shotting her. Rockets can also counter Minerva because she could bestow an HP consume damage to allies, enabling all of them to chip away at Minerva's HP or outright kill her if they have a high enough attack stat. Kime can turn Ia's regeneration barrier into HP reduction damage, which pretty much kills Minerva instantly. Apollo can also do the same, but due to her HP reduction damage only hitting once, Minerva can still survive if she has an immortality buff. And even though Minerva is good against most mages, some can still get past her or pierce through her defenses. Alphen can ignore Minerva's concentrated fire if she marks a warrior, as marks take priority over her concentrated fire and taunt. Enma's unique class attack skill allows him to attack several mercenaries at once, ignoring Minerva entirely if there are few defenders. Wester's Black Knight deals direct damage and dot damage, which doesn't kill Minerva instantly but does significantly chunk her. And lastly, Neptune can deal significant chunk, while Levy can straight up one-shot Minerva, though really these two are rarely seen in high elo. In my opinion, Minerva works the best in World Arena due to the ban of Exalted and limitation of legendaries. Both these restrictions combined boost her survivability by limiting her hard counters. I would give her a B rank in the World Arena, but do keep in mind that Lucia still far outclasses her. For the regular arena, Minerva gets a C rank as she could be a really annoying roadblock tank to deal with. However, she doesn't get any higher of a rank since most Exalted mercenaries counter her. And lastly, Minerva isn't good at both defending and attacking in Guild War. She isn't good at defending because she is really easy to counter, and she isn't good at attacking because most enemies run an Alphen or Enma opening, which can completely bypass Minerva's concentrated fire. I'll give her a D rank in the Guild War. And finally, the most important question of all, should you build Minerva? My answer is leaning on the side of no. Minerva isn't bad by any means, and she actually has a favorable matchup against some of the most notorious meta mercenaries. However, due to how easy it is to counter her, it significantly drops her viability. If you still want to build Minerva, I would recommend you to build Lucius and Lane first, as they are not only easier to use, but more effective at roadblocking. Once you are done building those two, then you can start building Minerva. And that's all. Make sure you check the comments if I made any changes to this guide, but other than that, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.